Some of the things that perplex me are dark matter, quantum mechanics, and why people insist on buying a Creta when they could buy a Citroen Acros for under 10 lakhs.
Perplexment aside, you will come to know why people prefer a Creta. But today's video is about Citroen, and this time they aren't just selling a car, they're selling a strategy.
The French brand wants to redefine how people view Citroen in India.
And to see what's actually new, our very own Team BHP moderator Omkar went down to a Citroen dealership to check it out in detail.
So fasten your seatbelts, here's everything that you need to know about the 2025 Citroen Acros X in one video.
For keen-eyed followers of Citroen, let me tell you, the new Acros X is not a brand new car.
In fact, on the outside, it's a slightly touched up, rebadged version of the existing C3 Acros.
Nothing significant has changed except for a few minor things.
The outgoing C3 Acros had a white lower grille element that looked quite quirky. But now that has been replaced with a black element which does the front fascia more justice. It definitely adds a hint of premiumness to the bumper.
And premiumness has been the name of this update, where the outgoing C3 Acros skimmed on premium features, the new one tries to play catch up.
For example, the old Acros only had conventional headlamp units when it was first launched, even in the top model. Imagine competing with the likes of Creta with halogen bulbs, and that is why the addition of LED projector headlamps is a welcome sight.
The new Acros X also comes with a 360-degree camera system, but there is a catch.
Take a close look at the front part of this car. Are you able to spot the camera? I hope not, because there isn't any. It is part of a mandatory dealer fitted accessory that will cost you 25,000 rupees. And we all know how that goes.
Omkar put it best. This is a dealer level fitting. It is good, but it will never match the original factory fit and finish. Before we proceed to the interiors, there are still a few notable changes that deserves our attention.
Citroen has gone for a more blacked out look for this iteration of the Acros, with a dual tone black roof and black roof rails. The C3 Acros only used to get white, blue and silver roof colors.
Lastly, on the outside, we have got massive badging.
Acros X, written in big bold letters to tell you it is not a C3 in any way, shape or form. Once again, it is part of their India 2.0 strategy that we'll talk about soon.
Speaking of things that haven't changed, the alloy wheels are exactly the same as the 2023 model. You might expect a fresh new design to mark the arrival of a new car, but they haven't done that.
And you don't need to look too far. Look at these Citroen C3 Acros alloys from Europe. They look interesting and would have better distinguished the new car.
Missed opportunity.
Continuing on things that had to be changed but haven't, are these god-awful looking flap-type door handles. Why Citroen?
What adds to the jank is the randomly placed shiny silver keyhole.
Again, why?
Inside, you will immediately notice the difference.
Absolutely. I've always felt budget Citroens to feel, well, budget. This is where the Acros X truly steps up. Gone is that low-budget plasticky feeling. This now feels properly premium. You get leatherette trim, soft touch inserts all around, and a more sleek, stark-looking dashboard.
The steering is still the same flat bottom unit, but now with cruise control and MID controls.
Behind which lies a 7-inch floating digital instrument cluster, which looks quite modern in my opinion. Although Omkar did mention that scrolling through the MID options takes a little getting used to.
Citroen likes to do things differently, sometimes just for the sake of it.
Yes, and that's part of their charm.
You also get LED cabin lamps and an auto-dimming IRVM. Finally, the basics done right.
The Acros X carries forward the 10.25-inch touchscreen, but now you get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and also bundled with Kara, their own AI assistant.
Hold up, I'm not a big fan of voice command system. Half of the time they are wrong, you have to sound like James Bond while operating it.
I'd love to agree, but Kara is different. This is a very impressive AI with support for many regional languages. Here's a demo of its workings.
You get an adjustable armrest in the front, facing a completely redesigned sleek center console. Right below, we get a wireless charging and a 12-watt socket for all your smart devices.
You know, Citroen has put a lot of care and effort into this car when you see that gear shifter. It is leather wrapped and feels properly upmarket with a gloss black trim. It finally looks like something from a 2025 premium car.
The next feature takes the cake in terms of Indian needs. Ventilated front seats.
Citroen sure is taking notes from its competitors like Hyundai. Citroen calls its new seating arrangement Flexi Pro. That sounds like a fitness gadget from late night TV.
It basically means you can remove the third seat and turn it into a 5-seater. Removable seats could have been a nicer name.
While the old C3 Acros got a grand total of 0 stars in the global NCAP, the new one gets a full 5-star from Bharat NCAP with 6 airbags.
Has the car gotten any better or the test gotten easier?
We are not very sure of that, but I can definitely say the new one is a lot safer with extra airbags.
Coming to the part of this vehicle which scares most potential buyers, the engine.
The Acros X comes with a puny 1.2 litre 3-cylinder engine that produces about 82 horses. However, for 11.3 lakhs, you can get the turbo version of this engine producing a healthy 109 bhp.
You might be thinking, why in the world did Citroën think 1.2 litre 3-cylinder engine might fit a 4.3 meter SUV?
Meanwhile, all of its rivals like the Creta, the Elevate, the Grand Vitara all come with at least a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated engine. Let's leave aside the 1.2 naturally aspirated Acros for a moment. The 1.2 turbo sits right alongside the base variant of the Creta. But is it better? That's the real question.
To find out, let's ask our in-house expert who drove this car at the launch.
Hi Omkar, we have Omkar in this call and he drove
Hey,
the
guys.
Citroën C3 Acros when it first launched.
Initially, when they launched, it was just the turbo petrol, and I think in 2024 they launched the naturally aspirated engine as well. And currently, they have both on offer.
So all of its competitors are like around 1.5, like Elevate, the Grand Vitara, the naturally aspirated Creta, all of it is like 1.5 4-cylinder engines, and this is a 3-cylinder 1.2 turbo engine around the same price. So how does it differ? Like how is it better or is it worse? I mean,
I think when it comes to its competitors like say Creta, Seltos, or even the Grand Vitara, Citroën actually competes with the naturally aspirated engine. Like say in case of Creta, it's the 1.5 naturally aspirated engine that it competes against. And when you look at the power figures also, it's very similar. There's a few horsepower difference, but it's not massive when you compare these two engines. Even if you say it's a 3-cylinder, it has good drivability. There's good amount of power and torque, and that's what makes it a good engine to drive.
How's the suspension and let's say drivability if we compare it to Creta?
In terms of suspension, I mean, Citroën is known for their flying carpet ride. They've always nailed the suspension tuning, even with all their cars, especially even when it comes to the C3 or even the C5 Acros, even the Basalt. Suspension tuning is just fantastic. It soaks up the road very nicely, even on highways. There's no excessive vertical movement or anything. Even when you're driving around in the city, it feels a bit abuse friendly, you know. Especially on our roads where there's a lot of potholes and all, you can just glide over them.
wow,
Wonderful.
Another part about the engine is that because of the turbo, there is a bit of turbo lag. Bottom end, you really need to work through it.
Okay.
You have to work through the bottom end, and once you get used to it, it's actually quite comfortable. You keep the engine on the boil, and that's when you can actually push the engine. You get a very nice, good stream of power throughout the power band.
Got it. So coming to the very important question, Omkar. So is the C3 Acros engine any better or is it worse than the Creta's naturally aspirated 1.5?
To be honest, it's a question of preference. The 1.5 naturally aspirated engine is very refined. That is a 4-cylinder. This is a 3-cylinder. So the Creta naturally aspirated engine obviously has superb refinement. He wants a sedate driving experience. That's where the Creta naturally aspirated works best. And this is somewhere in between. You can actually drive it around daily as well, and also sometimes you can have fun with it.
If an enthusiast driver is trying to buy a car, which would you suggest, a Creta or the turbo Citroën?
Oh, the turbo petrol is definitely, I'd like to recommend that over the naturally aspirated engine. It's not a deal breaker. The engine is definitely not a deal breaker on the Citroën Acros.
Okay, that clears a lot of stuff actually.
Yeah.
So thank you, Omkar. Thank you. We'll meet you on the next video. Bye.
Cheers.
That was the real eye-opener regarding the drivability and the performance, don't you think?
Trends seem to defy their norm at every turn. That includes their India 2.0 strategy.
Yes, to kick off things, they have started by renaming the C3 Acros to the Acros X. You might be thinking, what's in a name? But hear me out. The C3 is a budget hatchback, while the C3 Acros is a wildly different car which is much more substantial in size.
Clubbing these two under the same C3 moniker was just not fair to the Acros.
India is an aspirational market, and seeming much more premium than you are is how you win. A 10 lakh car should look and feel like a 20 lakh car, and a 20 lakh car better feel like a Mercedes. Imagine if the Creta was called the Venue Plus. Half of us would not even consider it.
And that is what probably happened with the C3 Aircross. Most people I know dismissed it thinking it's just a posh variant of the C3 hatchback.
See, I understand where Citroën is coming from. In Europe, the sensibilities are a bit different. People don't mind sounding budget when they're actually on a budget, but in India, it's the other way around. So this name change might seem minor at first, but in my opinion, that was the smartest move by Citroën in a while.
And the design is absolutely beautiful. The car looks stunning from every angle.
Yes, it's actually a scaled down version of the C5 Acros. Let me show you a neat party trick. Here's the C5 Acros. Let me overlay the Acros X onto it.
Whoa, that's actually a 1-for-1 match.
and hence it's bound to look great.
One is that Citroën has over its competitors is the price. The Creta rival starts under 10 lakhs.
Wow.
So there you have it. Here is everything you need to know about the 2025 Citroën Aircross X.
So that's it for this episode of The First Glance. Subscribe to Team DHP's YouTube channel and check out the forum discussions if you love cars.